Alrighty guys, it's another day. I'd like to say another dollar, but I'm not at work. But yeah, I just washed the car. It's nice and clean. Probably one of the more thorough washes I've given it since I've owned it. I've been pretty slack. Probably because it's white, and white's really easy to look after, and you don't see too much wrong with it until you actually wash it. So yeah, it's nice and clean. I got half in and half out of the shed today, being that, yeah, I own another 2 white vehicles. Yeah, I don't really care about them too much now. I used to love coloured cars, but white's definitely the way to go. Easy to look after. If you watch my vlogs, I've actually moved all my stuff over to this side, the garage, and it gives me all this room for activities, and we can actually fit another car in this side. Not that that thing down there will fit. The plan is to go and have some lunch, let this definitely dry off. I've given it a dry, but any other spots. And I got paint peeling here and a chip down here, a mark from where I crashed into my dirt bike the other day, and more paint peeling here on the front bar, and there's more on the rear bar as well. So I don't know, I might attempt to mask it up and spray it. I've brought the right colour for this car, Toyota white, so I'll fix that, a few other chips that I've got, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, I might attack this chip, this whole piece come out when I hit the road. There's a hole under here and a crack. So yeah, you can just see it, it's pretty bad. I'm going to sand it back a little bit, and I've got some body filler there, so I might just then smooth it out a bit and fill this crack and hole under here a little bit, and then paint over it. It might make it look a bit neater for now. Alright, I sanded it back a bit, made it a bit smoother. Lo and behold, it's already body filler, so that's why it cracks so easy when I hit it. So yeah, I just sort of roughed up this whole area, and I'll probably mask this up and around here a bit with some paper and whatnot, and try and give it a bit of a light coat of white. So yeah, bear with me guys, I just put a bit of body filler on just to cover up the gaps and fill the hole underneath. I've only ever done this once before, so it's not the best job. I caked it on, it'll dry and I'll just sand it back smooth. It should be better than what it was anyway. I don't think there's anywhere else I really need to bog. It was just that bit. Like, I could probably try and get some in this crack here, but it's a bit fine in there. So the rest of it's just roughing the paint up and then painting over the top and masking the areas I don't want to get it. Alrighty, I've masked it up sort of around where I'm painting. I'm only sort of painting this very bottom top section here. A little bit around these obsolete foggies, a little bit down here, and mainly when I sand this back down here, and a tiny fraction up here. I could keep going on the car and keep masking and taping things up and this and that. I've got to do the rear bumper as well, so whether I do that now or another day, I don't know yet. But that's still drying, so I'll leave it like this for a while. Maybe I'll look at doing the back. The back might be easier, it probably takes less taping, it's all down low, so I might be able to just give that a go. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Alrighty, I've applied some paint. I did get a couple runs, sadly. It was very runny paint. Like, there's a little bit of a run here, but at least I learnt straight up, and I did get a couple drips here, so I'll have to just sand them back and redo it, but it's not as shiny as I thought. Definitely looks like it almost needs a gloss over the top, like a clear coat. But anyway, I'll sand this back now and apply some paint lightly there. Alrighty, that's the back sprayed. From here, it actually looks really good. There's like no flaking paint all through here and all around the exhaust tip. It's all unified, which looks heaps better. You can see some little bits of steps in the paint where I didn't sand it enough, but it's very, very minor. And compared to how it was, and that it just kept flaking off, this should last a little while until I can afford to get the rear end fixed. So my plans are in the future is to get rid of, maybe you can see there's a little dent there from when I went drifting and the toolbox slid into the side of it. And there's a few marks in here, like someone dropped a bloody knurled tool on it or something. It's got a weird pattern in it, like just here. I don't know, let's see. It's kind of hard to see. But yeah, I'm just gonna save up some money and get all that sort of fixed up in the future and get this bar put back on properly and get some dents pulled out. I might even buy a dent puller and do them myself. It's another video. There's one in the roof here. They're dentless paint removal. I've done it before. It's not too bad. So on the back of the car I just did some gloss, like clear coat. It's turned out heaps better. It's nice and shiny. I'll probably give it a couple more coats of clear coat, and that looks a lot better than it did anyway, and I don't have paint flaking off every time I go to the car wash. So who knows, it might flake off again. I might not have prepped it enough, but it was just a very quick go. I just wanted to make it look better than what it was, see how I go with it, and see if it gets me by to when I actually get it painted. What do you reckon, Belle? You wanna know what's going on? What's all these smells? Body filler, paint, all sorts of stuff. Alrighty, we're all sanded back that second time. It's heaps smooth. I got the sort of the dent out. I've already given this a coat. Just got to give that another coat, give this a couple coats, add some clear, and I think the car will look a lot better. Alright, painted it up. It's looking heaps better. That's got 2 coats on it now. That's got to have 1 more coat. But all I'm doing is, I got this stuff mixed up at Super Cheap. It's pretty good paint actually, just a little bit thin. But yeah, they matched it to, well, it's actually already made up in Toyota white, so I just had to buy it off the shelf, which is heaps handy, and it seems to match really well. So I've done a couple of stone chips and stuff up on the bonnet. There's like one there, you can't even see it anymore, that's how well it's matched. So yeah, I'll just keep doing this, give it a clear, and be looking good. While it dries, I might as well make another video because I haven't got anything else to do at the moment. So yeah, I'm only doing it on the bumpers. I wouldn't be keen to just spray straight onto metal or the body of the car. So yeah, bumpers don't worry me. They're like plastic. They're sort of a bit easier to work with. You can sand bits of plastic down and that to get it smoothed out a bit better. Yeah, and this is just to make it look better and stop getting worse until, like I said, I'll get it fixed. Not perfect, but it's looking better. I bet, knowing my luck, I'll put it in the sun and you'll see heaps of paint changes and different bits of spray. But that's, you know, that's all I can do. So yeah, I'm just using that paint. I'm using a very cheap clear coat that I already had. It's not very good, I don't like it, it kind of splatters. I used it on one of my old cars, but it did the job. And people didn't notice it too much, only I sort of knew that it was bad. So hopefully it turns out the same on this car. You can actually see on the ground here like bits of spray, overspray, black from my old car. That's when I fixed the bumper on that. Pretty big mishap at Power Cruise with that thing. I got a loose exhaust and it like grabbed on the road when I was going back to my pit. Dug in and the car sort of flipped up and went over the exhaust, bent the exhaust and then ripped the whole rear bar off. So when I was going down the straight at Power Cruise again, after that, the whole thing just blew off and got dragged down the track. So I just had this, like on the back sort of corner of the bumper, had this, yeah, sort of big wear mark. So I sanded it back. Didn't use any body filler, just sanded it and smoothed everything in together, being that it's plastic, and painted it black, put that clear coat on it, and you could tell it had been painted a little bit there. It wasn't the best, it looked a bit different, but it was better than what it was. And then I sold the car and the guy didn't even notice it when he was walking around the car, never said a thing, so must have been too bad. Alrighty, that's nearly empty. That was the second can. I think I only spent about 30 bucks on 2 cans, so not too bad. So I've only got about that much left. So I'm going to save it for paint chips and whatnot later. I'll put that on the shelf. I've done a lot of sanding. I've run out of sanding papers, so I've opted not to do any more. That's it for paint, that's it for sanding. Just clear coat and it'll be done. So I'll let that dry and do the clear. Also guys, the subscriptions keep climbing. I'm at like 82 now or something, which is again awesome. Please subscribe, buttons here, hit it. I won't say it too much more, but when I get to 100, yeah, I might do a bit of a burnout or donut or something to celebrate and put the video in here for you guys to see. Alright, we're all done. This is the main side I did. It's in the sun. It's not too bad. The clear coat kind of puts some pitting in it. I don't know if you can see it in the videos, but it kind of drives a bit funny. It is cheap stuff. That's what happens when you buy cheap stuff, but the main holes are filled in now, so I can always just sand it back a bit and redo it with a better paint and clear again. But I dare say I will pay for someone to paint it properly one day in the near future. Paper's out, all the masking's off, headlights are nice and clean from yesterday, and the bar looks heaps better. It doesn't have any of that paint flaking, and odd colours in it. Yeah, it has some pitting and has some different weird sprays, but unless you get really up close to it and have a look, you're not going to notice, even in the sun. So, I mean, I think the rear bar turned out pretty good. I haven't seen it fully in the sun, but in the shade it looks all one colour, like schmick and smooth. So it's definitely better. That's what I got to remember. I improved it. Might not be the best, but at least when I go to the car wash or at home hosing it off, I'm not going to have big paint flakes flying everywhere. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hope you still like these videos. Try and do some more exciting things soon. Might be a while before I upload another video. I don't know what's coming next, or when it's coming. But thanks again. Subscribe.